We are Black. We are Florida.
It's Father's Day here in Baltimore, and what better way to celebrate Dad than with some day baseball? The Marlins are feeling the joy and rolling, having won 8 of their last 12. Meanwhile, the O's are reeling, losers of 9 straight. They're off to one of their worst starts ever. Today, Miami goes for the sweep on Fox Sports Florida. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Baltimore for the last game of this 3-game series on a very special Father's Day. So glad that you're spending some of it with us as the Marlins wrap up their 3-game series here in Baltimore. They've been playing some very good baseball, and again, win or lose, being able to spend time with family today, that's what's so important. And again, glad that you're with us, and a very happy Father's Day to everyone out there celebrating, of course, past and present. And with that, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollinsworth. Yes, it is 8 of 12 wins for the Marlins, but also 5 of the last 6 as they go for a sweep today. And they got the win last night thanks in large part to JT Realmuto, a couple of home runs and 4 RBIs.
Yeah, great to see JT really swinging the bat well over the last week. 400 batting average, 3 home runs over the last week, 2 of them yesterday. And I kind of remind people, like, you know, if JT's going to hit a home run, where does he usually hit it to now? It's not left field. It's center field. He's done so much damage this year to the middle of the field. He's made some swing adjustments over the winter, and they're really paying off right now. He's hitting for more power and really capitalizing on the move to the top of the lineup. It's so much fun to see. He's been given more offensive responsibility this year, and he's coming through.
No question about it. Of course, his defensive responsibility today is at first base, so it's Brian Holliday behind the plate, and he'll be catching Trevor Richards, who is fresh off his first big league win.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Richards is throwing the ball really, really well. 3.27 ERA, his 2 starts since getting called back up again. And I was telling the guys early today, I love to see his changeup against a team that has not seen him before, and that is the case today. This Baltimore Orioles team has not seen his changeup. Expect good stuff today as long as that fastball command is there.
We shall see. Again, the Marlins looking for the sweep, and they have played very well against the Orioles. 22-7 all time. They'll look to keep it rolling as they look to begin this 3-city road trip with a sweep. We are back with the first pitch at Camden Yards after this. to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. Chevrolet, see your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. We have been blessed with 3 amazing days of weather here in Baltimore as we wrap up this 3-game series. Glad that you're spending some of your Father's Day with us as the Marlins are going for the sweep of the Baltimore Orioles. As we take a look at the Southwest batting order for the Marlins, Derek Dietrich is in there in the top spot. Brian Anderson has been on base in 14 straight. And how about the day for JT Realmuto yesterday? Another multi-home run game, his 2nd of the year. He is in the lineup, a day game after an afternoon game, if you will. But he's over there at first base as they utilize the designated hitter with Justin Bour in that spot. And Dylan Bundy on the bump for the 15th time this season, with a .366 ERA.
Yeah, he's throwing the ball very well. 9 of his 14 starts have been quality starts. Pitched pretty well here at Camden Yards. 2-4 record. I think that I'd say that just about everybody. They haven't been doing a whole lot of winning. .394 ERA, making his 10th start. His last one, a pretty good one against the Boston Red Sox. 8 innings, no earned runs. Let's go ahead and give you the AutoNation scouting report. Hot hand kind of led you there. 4 scoreless starts on the season. I mentioned the 9 of 14 quality. Has not allowed an earned run in his last 17 innings. Now, prone to the long ball. That kind of goes back to his May. Told you how good he's been here in June. 2 good starts. But in 32 May innings, he allowed 13 home runs. You got to pay attention to that. It's kind of what his issue has been at times. Doesn't have a whole lot of traffic out there. But again, you can take him deep. He's given up a few home runs. Wipeout slider, stay away from that. He's got one of the best in the game. Throws it to righties 41% of the time. Get this, right-handed hitters, 093. They've struck out 49 times. And in fact, 66 of his 95 Ks this season have come on the slider.
He's moved into that ace role, if you will, of the Baltimore Orioles, pitching on a Sunday afternoon, and afternoon starts are key for Dylan Bundy. As interesting as that may sound, his first pitch is in there for, well, ball 1, excuse me. Rather close, but the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy, says it's ball 1. So here is the second pitch to Derek Dietrich. That also inside, and it's 2-0. For Dietrich, 2 for 4 with a run scored and a double yesterday. 2 for 8 in the series. Beautiful 88 degrees at first pitch today, as Bundy is yet to throw a strike. We saw Dietrich in yesterday's ball game, or Friday night's ball game, really jump on that first pitch. Now a little bit more patience as he finally takes a called strike, 3-1. Fouls that one back, and he works the count full. Yeah, saw one pitch in yesterday afternoon's game as he jumped on the first offering, and next thing you know, a quick run on the board. And the Marlins, as we mentioned before, have been playing some much better baseball. Obviously, the pitching has been, on the whole, very good the last couple of weeks. It's kind of their MO. If they can play the tight game, and as Dietrich works the walk, if they can play the tight game and hang around a little bit, that's how they're going to win games.
Great take right there on the 3-2 pitch. Changeup, and he laid off. It's going to be the Marlins, the Orioles first defensively. A little bit of a change a couple of seconds ago. Mancini gets the start in left, Jones in center, Gentry in right, Peterson, Machado, Scope, Joseph, Wins into the game. He was not originally catching, so Wins is in the game today with Dylan Bundy on the mound.
Here's Brian Anderson now, the runner on and nobody out. He swings at the first pitch, sends it out to center field where Adam Jones is camped out for the first out. So I mentioned the afternoon start for Dylan Bundy, and the difference between days and nights are incredible. Now, day or night, I don't know how he's going to get Realmuto out because he's been swinging a hot bat. But to get to Mr. Bundy, daytime ERA 3rd lowest in the major leagues at 108. Night ERA 12th highest at 6.21.
Well, as I mentioned, he's been on a roll. Last 17 innings, he has not allowed an earned run. He's kind of reinvented himself over the first few years of his career, but relies heavily on his slider now. Righties will see that four-seam fastball, sinker, slider. Lefty's going to see a little bit more. Four-seam fastball, sinker, change, slider, curve. Kind of breaks down those secondary pitches a little bit more to the lefties than to the righties. As I mentioned, the slider nearly 50% of the time.
Misses inside, a ball and a strike to JT Realmuto. Again, had 3 hits in last night's ball game. 44th 3-hit game of his career. His last came about a week or so ago on the 11th of June. Also, of course, a multi-home run game. Was the 4th of his career. He had one in Los Angeles. As this one is fouled back, the ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he's done very, very well, JT has, in interleague play. Above 350.
He's kind of fought that one off. Still 1-2.
Yeah, and you kind of see if his slider. Now, of course, you know, when we see pitchers, we're kind of seeing him for the first time too. I mean, again, it's, you know, we don't see Dylan Bundy all that much. You hear the conversation about the slider. There hasn't been a whole lot of consistency to it. Maybe that's the key, is that there is no consistency. We'll find out. It certainly helps his fastball play up. You see right there, 93. Actually, a pretty good pitch for JT to at least foul off, and he's able to get it by him. And this catches an awful lot of the strike zone.
So after the leadoff walk, a fly out and a strikeout, and that'll bring up Justin Bour. Bour 0 for 4 in each of the 2 ball games here in Baltimore. Has some family and friends in town from nearby DC. Of course, went to George Mason, so spending a nice family weekend, if you will, on Father's Day.
Now, this may be his day. I like this matchup. Lefty's hitting 292 against Bundy. See Dietrich at first base already. Lefties don't hit for nearly as much power, but hit for higher average. The righty's 182 on the season, but 11 home runs.
Wind sets up inside, and that one fouled right back to the screen. A ball and a strike.
Watch that late movement. See Wynn really giving him a deliberate target. Communication.
To Scope at second base. And Bour is retired. Leadoff walk is stranded. We head to the bottom of the 1st inning.
want to thank you for always being there and traveling and doing everything for me. Happy Father's Day. This one's for you.
There's Trevor Richards, today's starting pitcher, wishing a happy Father's Day to his dad, as we all do here on this Father's Day, as the Baltimore Orioles get set to dig in. Bottom of the first inning, the batting order presented to you by Southwest. Corbin Joseph getting his second start of this series. The usual suspects of Adam Jones, Manny Machado, and Mark Trumbo in there as the DH, with Jonathan Scope, who has been scuffling but did homer in yesterday's ball game, hitting fifth. Richards is set to roll this afternoon. His first pitch to Joseph is in there for a called strike for Richards, coming off his first big league win. Looking to build off of it, as he has been solid for the most part this year. Yes, there have been some ups and downs, but the Marlins minor league pitcher of the year last year has certainly had his high moments this season, coming off of one his last time out.
Well, on the season, 4.41 ERA since his return, 3.27. So you see the improvement. 11 innings, only 9 hits. Good stuff. Last start I thought was a real test of his poise. Going back to his last start, he walked the first 2 batters of the ball game. He started to unravel, it seemed, and he got it back together. Did give up a run in the first, but boy, oh boy, did he settle down against the Giants.
This one out to shallow left field. Dietrich dealing with the sun will make the catch, and there's one away.
Yeah, just finishing up on that last start. You see the one win. It came in his last start. Remember, he walked the first 2 guys and got some great defense behind him. Riddle made a beautiful play, able to get out of that inning. He faced 1 batter over the minimum after that first inning. 6 solid innings, and again, that first big win. 4.41 ERA. Changeup is his biggest pitch. You know, lefties, he's a classic reverse splits guy. Lefties 217 with only a homer. Righties 265 with 3. How about this? Runners in scoring position. We talk about poise all the time. Runners in scoring position, 136.
Well, that has been one of the many things that the Marlins like about him, and certainly applaud, is that poise. He is not a guy who wears emotions on his sleeve, if he has emotions at all. Sometimes I wonder. No, but that's the thing, is he stays under control, and whether things are going right or wrong, you don't really know it. And to that point, his last time out, yes, it was the 2 walks. There was also a wild pitch mixed in. He gets the defense, that helps him settle in, and that was all part of the Marlins taking 3 of 4 from the San Francisco Giants.
Well, what the Marlins are really proud of is that he's improving and he's continuing to get better. I talk about an awful lot, not so much about that changeup. I rave about the changeup, but we talk about the curveball because it's got to be there for him. And it certainly will be a big pitch today.
And Jones lines one down the line, foul. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Today we are participating in the home run challenge. Every home run in this game raises money for prostate cancer research. So far, $2.4 million have been raised in the challenge. Make a pledge by going online, homerunchallenge.org.
Jones just got a piece of that one to stay alive. Yeah, you'll see lots of baby blue. The hats. Some guys wearing the socks, the wristbands.
Put your baby blue tie on.
Baby blue tie, you're right.
There you go. Well done.
Thank you. Appreciate
looking.
Look at that too, with the stripes going on. It's awesome.
You know, it's funny. We talk about, like, one thing that I hear the players tell me, like, they're so happy with the stance deal and the socks and everything.
Right.
Over the last couple of years, that kind of was worked out. In my generation, it was like blue socks. That's what you get. Just deal with it.
That's right. Pops this one up on the infield, and Castro, shading his eyes, will make the catch. 2 away.
Here are your Marlins defensively. You see Derek Dietrich in the left make a nice catch in the sun. High sky today. Too many clouds. Maben gets the start in center field. Anderson in right. Rivera, Riddle, Castro, Realmuto, Holiday is your defense. Don't run on Holiday. He's got 9 for his last 9. I'll tell you what, this defense has been spectacular. Thinking back a couple of days, And Don Mattingly was talking about how well the team has been playing, some of the things that stood out to him. It felt quite collective, and it is.
3 pop-ups in the inning. 1 to left field, but 2 on the infield. Machado's retired on 1 pitch through 1. Scoreless. Family here on this Father's Day. Glad that you're with us. Paul Severino, Todd Hollingsworth, Jessica Blaylock, as the Marlins and Orioles are scoreless at the moment. Marlins have won the first 2 games of this series. Been playing some very good baseball as of late. Winners of 5 of 6 and 8 of 12 as Starlin Castro swings at the first pitch from Dylan Bundy and fouls it back. It's Castro, Cameron Maybin, and JT Riddle. 5, 6, and 7 due up for Miami here in the second. Bundy did a nice job working around a leadoff walk in the first inning. And the first innings have kind of been the issue for him. 13 of his 40 runs allowed have come in the first inning. So it's one of those situations where, again, generally speaking, you got to get to him early before he settles in.
That was a pretty good look at the slider as it explodes off the outside corner. Starlin Castro is the one who came in with good numbers against Bundy. A couple of home runs, 5 RBIs.
On the ground to third. Peterson makes the play. 1 away. Jace Peterson over at the hot corner. We've seen Danny Valencia the last couple of days. But one player that we haven't seen is Chris Davis. Of course, still working through some things, as is this entire Orioles team that is, unfortunately for them, really hit the skids. They've lost 9 in a row, their longest losing streak of the season. It's already the 3rd time this year that they've lost at least 7 in a row. And it's their longest losing streak since July of 2011.
Now, you kind of noticed, as these games have played out, the first 2 games of this series, the Marlins have jumped out with a little bit more offense, and it kind of sets the tone. And I say that because we've kind of seen it in both directions, obviously, with the Marlins. They have not won as many games as other teams in the National League, but when you see it with the Baltimore Orioles, it stands out so clearly. What I'm getting at here is that when you score first, you kind of set the tone for the day. When you're a team that's lost 50 times in this season, we're not even to the halfway mark, you kind of start to sense that same aura that you'll get every day. Oh boy, here we go again. We're down by 2 runs or 3 runs. So the Marlins can get a little offense going. I can almost promise you that it'll take the wind out of this Baltimore Orioles team once again. We've seen it in this series where the defense has picked it up. The Marlins scored first. They held on to that lead. Different than the Giants series where the Marlins were the ones battling back all the time.
Maben lines one out to right field, and that one is going to be played on a hop in right by Craig Gentry. A base hit for Cameron Maben.
A beautiful piece of hitting on a breaking ball. His hands back. Well, that's not easy to do when you're not playing every day. Boy, oh boy, that was a nice swing. Kept those hands. Even that little click, you see that little bit of a delay, right? So he's recognizing the pitch on its way in, was kind of setting up for a fastball, had to keep those hands back, let the ball travel and go the other direction. Well done.
First pitch swinging is JT Riddle. And that one into the seats behind the first base bag. Definitely a nice play out there. It's applause from the crowd. 3 for 7, a double, and 2 runs scored in the series for JT Riddle. A couple of hits last night. I'm sure everybody's awake on the other side now. Off the screen that scatters some Marlins. One thing I'm a little shocked with there, you look down there, you got a bunch of Marlins wearing sweatshirts. It's 88 degrees.
It's okay.
They're crazy.
Try to stay loose, man. That's how you stay loose.
I guess so.
You're just used to air conditioning.
Yeah. They got hoodie. I guess they like short sleeves, I guess.
You've been living the pampered life way too long.
Oh, without question. Yeah. Do you even know what the UV index is?
I don't even know what that means.
Well, whatever it is, it's 9 out of 10 today. 90% of the UV index. Yeah, I'm assuming. I don't know. It's a bright day.
Not where we sit.
There's a lot of UVs out there.
Well, JT Riddle swinging a hot bat. Remember this, a couple of doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs over his last 7 games. Really picking it up in the series so far here in Baltimore.
There's a line drive out to Gentry. This one he made the catch. First base umpire Brian O'Nora is going to say that the ball popped out on the transfer.
Now let's take another look. It certainly looks like he catches the ball off the turf. Question is, does he have it long enough? And in the opinion, Brian O'Nora, he did.
Marlins are not going to review this, and we should clarify, as I was questioning the wardrobe choice of some Marlins, Bundy balked, and that is why Maben is on at second base now. So hashtag stick to baseball. Here's Yadiel Rivera fouling the first pitch back. All right, so let's go back and check out the balk for Bundy.
It almost looks like he came set twice. That front foot, kind of watch him. He's going to step back and then step back again, one, and then does it again.
I wonder if he didn't come set for that requisite second either. Because if he does that kind of double tap every pitch, then that wouldn't be the issue. So keep an eye on that. But whatever it was, second base umpire and crew chief Field and Culberth saw it immediately. And now Bundy and Wins trying to get on the same page. Yadiel Rivera got a base hit last night to snap an 0 for 16. And Maben on the run. No throw to third. It's a stolen base for Cameron Maben.
I'll tell you what, that's some strategic base running right there, Paul. You love to see this. After a meeting on the mound, what is this pitcher, what is Bundy thinking? He's concentrating on his next pitch. He's not concentrating on Maben. What's he do? He gets a great jump and steals third base.
Rivera couldn't hold up the swing. They will throw to first to complete the strikeout. Marlins leave one on here in the second inning as we go to the last of the second here at Camden Yards. into the bottom of the second inning.
Please join us for Salute and Serve Monday, presented by TIKD, ticked June 25th, as we invite those who serve to join us for a ball game. Active and retired U.S. military personnel, veterans, firemen, and policemen receive 2 complimentary tickets when showing their official service IDs at the center field entrance at Marlins Park. For more information, visit marlins.com/offers.
Mark Trumbo to lead things off for the Orioles, then Jonathan Schoop and Trey Seanie. Trumbo, the designated hitter this afternoon. We've seen him in right field throughout the series. He takes a called strike.
Yeah, that's good use of a breaking ball right there, and I've talked about it an awful lot since Richards has been back. Good spot to drop it in. If he gets the Orioles or anybody moving forward to respect that breaking ball, know that he can throw it for a strike, it's only going to help the arsenal.
Terrific job painting the corner there, and it's a ball and 2 strikes. And it was that breaking ball that he mixed in a little bit more as the game went on against the San Francisco Giants his last time out. He said afterwards that it really helped to settle him in.
Well, it also allows that changeup to play up. He doesn't have to use it so much. There you go. That's his first major league win. That was against the San Francisco Giants. 2 of the 3 walks came to the first 2 hitters of the ball game. Only a couple of strikeouts, but there was a ton of bad contact. Only the 2 hits allowed. In fact, he was able to wipe out one of those hits with a double play. He loves to throw the changeup to the lefty, but to the righties he has a little bit more of a mix. That puts a lot of pressure on that breaking ball to serve a purpose.
And Trumbo shoots it through the hole on the right side. A leadoff base hit here in the second. Control has been much better, and again, I know some folks may say, yeah, but that's AAA and this is the major leagues. But bear with me for a second. He was up at the beginning of the year, 14 walks and 24 strikeouts in April, and then he was sent down after that start against the Dodgers. So 14 walks, 24 strikeouts, 37 strikeouts, and 4 walks when he was down in New Orleans. And that was one of the things that he has been working on, a little bit more command, a little bit more control, being able to attack the strike zone and do so in a way, because again, he doesn't have this overpowering 100-mile-an-hour fastball, so he's got to be a little bit more careful, but use the pitches, mix the pitches, and hit your spots, and that's how he's going to be effective. Jonathan Schoop fouls one back. Schoop with a home run in yesterday's ball game, his 7th on the season. They hit just .209. Guy that has certainly the last few years been a big cog in the machine of the Baltimore Orioles lineup, but right now, as are most of the O's, he's been scuffling. Yes, the home run yesterday, but just 2 RBIs, 7 for 57 in his last 15 games. And a hot shot past Rivera down the line. Trumbo on his way to third. Dietrich gets to it before it gets to the corner. And a double for Schoop. Orioles in business here in the second.
You're right, back-to-back base hits for the Baltimore Orioles here in inning number 2. Schoop pulls the hands in just like he did on the home run yesterday. Very similar, a little bit more extension, obviously drove the ball out, but same spot, fastball in. Give you a more quick look. Didn't crush it, but perfectly placed it down that line. Left by Rivera.
Now Trey Seanie. Seanie in left field today. 8 homers and 18 RBIs on the season, but still without a hit in the series.
Well, he's been scuffling a bit. Certainly noticed in the first couple of games of this series that head moving a lot, kind of really getting out over his front foot. And fooled by pitches. I'm surprised if Richards doesn't stay with a lot of those secondary pitches. See the percentages, well below average. 4 out of 13. He can be fooled right now.
Not happy with the call of the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy. That's a strikeout for Trevor Richards, and there's one away.
Well, job well done. Holiday wants this ball up, gave him a couple looks down in the zone. Watch this. Get it up here. Good late stop. You know, listen, I love that. Catchers move. I used to say this all the time. When catchers move early and set up early, some pitchers like that. Boy, you give an awful lot of information to the hitter. You set up late and give him a late target, and if you can hit it, boy, oh boy, that is a huge weapon. Nice job, Mr. Holiday.
Now Jace Peterson getting his first start in the series. And they'll throw to second, but back is Scope. Now it's one of those unwritten rules. You don't peek out of the side of your eye there, see where the catcher's setting up, but you can feel him.
You don't peek at it. Of course you do.
Really?
Well, no. Now there's two different things that you're asking
asking look
about.
and feel.
Well, you can't help it. Some guys are big. I used to think big. Well, that's the one thing about big catchers. You felt where they went. I mean, they're so big, they move around.
That's what I'm saying. Feeling is one thing.
Well, right. You can't look back and stare at the signs, but I mean, you can't help but see. I mean, you're in the same space.
Right.
To know where he's going. My point merely is this: guys who can kind of give you that impression that they're maybe setting up down the middle, slide as the pitcher's delivering his pitch. There's no way that you can process that information. But if you do it early, of course I can. You know, some guys get the signs and they're like, all right, I want a fastball away, and they slide right out right away. You're like, I wonder where he's going.
Right.
Yeah, see, you watch that setup and it's late. It doesn't give away any kind of information. And here's the other thing. Hitters think that way. Pitchers throw certain pitches to certain spots.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you move to that spot, a lot of times I'll be saying to myself, that's a sinking fastball. Why? Because that's the spot you go to every time you call for it.
Strike on the inside corner. It's 1-2. A single for Trumbo and then a double for Scope. So the Orioles have runners on second and third, and one out after the strikeout of Mancini. First of the day for Richards. Another 1-2 pitch to Jace Peterson is tapped to the right side, but that's a foul ball. And it looked like first base umpire Brian O'Norton. Did you say that he hit it twice?
I got to be honest. I'm not even sure how that could possibly be a foul ball other than that. You're right. Okay, maybe that's exactly what happened.
It looked like he held up 2 fingers like he hit it twice.
Okay. I mean, I'm with you. Did it hit his bat on the way out?
I guess so.
Because that pitch was away. That's what I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Yeah, something happened.
Yeah.
Hit his bat again.
On the follow through.
I was locked up with everybody on the infield. He was reaching on that changeup. I know he didn't hit it off his foot.
Another look.
All right, sinking changeup. There it is, running away. Yeah, sure enough.
It's almost like he punched it right on the handle.
Kind of in that pine tar area, right?
Yeah. Oh, good eye by Brian O'Nora on the first base.
Well, it was odd. I mean, the ball ended up in a spot that I think that we were all surprised. If anything, I thought it was going to be like out in front of home plate. Didn't hit it very hard. Well, I'll tell you what, the Baltimore Orioles, at least first time through, have shown some serious patience on that changeup. Certainly when they see it in his hand and out, they've done a nice job holding up. Tell you what, though, if Richards gets it just a little bit higher in the zone and it bottoms out, he may start to pick up some swing and misses.
2-2 pitch. Blocked by Holiday. One out to right center field, and way back is Anderson. That one is going to bounce up and over the wall. It's going to be an automatic double for Jace Peterson, and both runs are going to come in to score. The Orioles take a 2-0 lead. That one just kept carrying.
Yeah, it certainly did. Tell you what, Peterson was out on that front foot. This wasn't completely barreling up, but boy, oh boy, did that ball jump off his bat. Watch the swing. Fooled. In fact, that pitch away, almost like he's, trying to elevate the ball and get that sacrifice fly. It ends up carrying all the way to center field and bouncing off the warning track. Yeah, that top end was off the bat early on that changeup. The biggest difference, it didn't have the diving action that it usually does. That changeup stayed up.
It's the first lead of the series for the Baltimore Orioles. And now Craig Gentry out to center field. Cameron Maben in a few steps for the second out. Hey Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by Coors Light. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go. Take it to San Francisco. You can take it to Colorado. Those are the next 2 stops on this road trip. Cross-country flight. Have your movie set up? You ready to roll? Are you going to do some work? You're probably going to do some work. Yeah, right. You're dedicated. Yeah, that makes sense.
Definitely will eat on the 5-hour flight. I'd like to get
maybe twice.
I like to get the work done. Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, I promise you this: it's going to be a lot different temperature-wise when we get to San Francisco.
That's right. 88 here, might be about 68 there.
I don't think it's going to be that warm.
Really? 58?
The high temperature for the next 3 days is in the 50s.
Wow.
You ready for that? How'd you pack? Pack a sweater?
Like an idiot. I didn't. I packed. I think I have one of those, like,
you didn't pack any of your V-neck sweaters?
Nope. Nope. These are all at home. Strike 2 to Austin Wins. The RBI double for Jace Peterson has the Orioles in front 2-0. Trevor Richards trying to keep it right there. Swung on and missed, strike 3. It's the second strikeout of the inning and the day for Richards, but the Orioles score 2 on the ground rule double. of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Famous for that around here. Maryland blue crabs.
What's blue about it?
Well, they're not blue anymore. You saw the blue at the beginning.
I didn't see that. I wasn't looking.
You look away. When I read the disclaimer, you don't pay attention?
Was it really blue when it started?
Yeah.
Wow.
Boy, it's like I don't even know you anymore.
I didn't see it. Sorry, my bad.
Whatever. Here's Brian Holiday to lead things off. Derek Dietrich and Brian Anderson to follow. Marlins down a couple. All right, so you want evidence that they were in fact blue at one point?
Yeah, I see it now. Yep, I'm all about it. I'm in. I get it.
And then they, you know, there's
there is a lot of blue in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Now they're done celebrating Father's Day.
That's right. Well, so you take your dad out to dinner, you have those, and then it's like the circle of life, you see.
I do see that.
Yeah. Ball and 2 strikes. Dylan Bundy has been an Oriole for a while. 2011 first round pick, 4th overall out of Oklahoma. 3 pitchers went before him as Holiday flies this one out to right field. Gentry. 1 away. Garrett Cole was the #1 pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 2011. Then Danny Hultzen, #2 to the Mariners, and Trevor Bour, #3 to the Diamondbacks. So 4 pitchers right out of the gate.
Do you watch the draft, like when you go back and look at draft classes, like think the way that I like, you know, all right, did it go right based on what we see performance-wise at the major league level?
You do. I sometimes
like,
do get
like,
lost
so what
in
you
that,
just
yeah.
so what you just told me, I'm like, well, 3 of the 4 are right, spot on.
Right. Yeah. And again, as someone who did not play at this level, I feel bad saying, well, that guy's a bust, or this guy never panned out. Like I feel bad saying that.
Well,
of the actual individual,
but it is a fact. I mean, it's
right.
I mean,
right.
Garrett Cole he's having a crazy good year this year.
No question about it.
Trevor Bauer has really turned the corner as an Indian. He's got it all figured out up there as well.
But I don't know if Danny Hultzen ever made it to the major leagues. Dietrich fouls that one away. Trevor Bauer's obviously settled in very nicely with the Cleveland Indians. You had Bubba Starling at #5, Anthony Rendon, Archie Bradley, Francisco Lindor. I mean, this, you talk about a draft class in 2011. This was Bundy part of an impressive draft class in 2011. Dietrich hold up. They'll check. He did, says the third base umpire C.B. Buckner. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Dietrich, who walked in the first inning.
Well, you know, there's a few common denominators between Bundy and Real Muto and Anderson. I think they're all from Oklahoma.
That's correct. Not the first state you think of when you think of baseball hotbed, but those are 3 pretty good ball players. As Dietrich strikes out for the 2nd out.
Join us Friday, June 29th, when the Marlins take on the Mets for fireworks at the park. Catch all the action at 7:10 and then enjoy a post-game fireworks display with the 305 skyline as the backdrop. Purchase your tickets for fireworks presented by T-Mobile, marlins.com/tickets.
This is one of those Oklahoma boys you're talking about, Brian Anderson.
Yeah, because he's from Oklahoma, he should give him a fastball right down the middle.
You think that's how that works?
I don't, but I used to think that way.
Come on.
You know, I'm like, come on, we're tight. We're from the same area, right?
Play rival high schools.
Hook me up.
Sure. Two and 1 to Anderson, who flew out back in the first inning, but he has been on base in 14 straight games, hitting .389 with 21 hits, 10 runs scored, and 10 RBIs in that stretch. breaking ball or off-speed pitch is in there for a called strike 2. That's 3. And that is 4 strikeouts for Dylan Bundy. A couple of them in the 3rd. It's 2-0 Baltimore.
In the stands, that includes Dan Straley. This is his father, Steve. Steve, Dan insisted that I come and find you and do a Father's Day interview, so that is exactly what we are going to do. First off, what does it mean to you to be in the same city as Dan on Father's Day weekend, be able to spend some time with him?
It's exciting to just to spend a day like today with this. You know, I got to go down on the field and take a picture with him before the game, and it's just special to spend those kind of moments with him. He's so happy to be here and excited. He loves to share it with everybody, and I love sharing it with him. And this is his first Father's Day as a father, which makes it even more special.
I know you are so proud of his journey to the big leagues. What do you remember about him growing up, going to baseball games, going to practices, all the hard work that he put in?
He's worked hard his whole life. I've always told him his whole life, you know, work as hard as you want, but if you're going to do it, you got to commit to it, and he's always done that. I've always told him he had what it takes to make it, but it's a hard road to work, and you got to work hard, and he has done it every step of the way.
You mentioned this is Dan's first Father's Day as a father, so that means this is your first Father's Day as a grandfather. How much more special does that make it?
It's very special. Jackson is a special child. He's wonderful to be around, and I just love seeing his smile.
I can see the emotion and the tears welling up in your eyes. That's so sweet. Thank you so much for spending some time with me on Father's Day.
Thank you.
Guys, over to you.
Excellent stuff, Jessica and Steve. Thank you very much. And thanks to Dan for giving us the heads up. Sometimes, you know, we don't always get the heads up that they're sitting here and they'll be here this day, that day. So, yeah, obviously a very special day. Straley not pitching in this series, so, you know, none of that stress of having to, well, I got to pitch tomorrow, I got to be in bed by 9:30 or anything crazy like that. I'm sure they got a nice time to spend with each other. He had pitched the other day in that 16-inning ball game. So Straley in San Francisco.
A really cool moment, though.
Yeah.
I think for Dan, you know, your first Father's Day, I mean, obviously I can speak to this, so can you.
Yep.
You know, that first one where, you know, it's not about your father anymore and it's about you being a dad as well is different. And I know that Dan's probably experiencing that today, so I know he'll have fun with it. It's a really, really cool day. I mean, my 4 beautiful children, I'm so grateful to my family that I've got 4, but I remember Ty, you know, I was still playing. I was in Dan's exact position, you know, in my career and playing on Father's Day. And you know, to think that you had that first one and that this holiday now is about you and what you're doing in this world is really cool.
Yeah. And obviously for all of the the dads that are playing, obviously broadcasting as well. It's also one of those days to say thanks to mom too, as we
That's
are.
how you became a dad.
Well, that too, yes, that is true. Biologically speaking, yes. But I guess what I'm saying is that you know, while we're on the road and the players are on the road, it's mom who's back home, kind of doing the dad stuff today too. As Adam Jones lines one out to right field. Manny Machado with nobody on and 2 out here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. The Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. Well, the highest percentage of teams' runs. Manny Machado responsible for 22.1% of the team's runs. So to say that he has been their offense, I guess would be pretty accurate.
Well, look at the top of that board. What does it tell you? There's one common theme. You've got 3 guys at the top who are clearly the highest percentage of their team's offense, and those are some offenses that aren't necessarily struggling, but as a team are. A lot of times that's usually the case.
And a base hit through the right side for Manny Machado. Yeah, 52 of the team's 233 RBIs have come through that man right there. He's on base with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 3rd.
He's got a couple RBIs in this series as well. Anytime you can get him to the plate with nobody on base, you feel an awful lot better about going at him in the strike zone.
And that will be one of the storylines this summer as we approach the trade deadline. We obviously won't see the Orioles in the 2nd half, but the question of whether or not Manny will be here is certainly a topic of conversation nationally as Mark Trumbo fouls one back. Of course, a free agent at the end of the season. This team is not where they hoped that they would be, so along with Machado and Zach Britton, a number of others that are pending free agents, kind of that's where you talk about whether or not teams are in sell mode right now. A team that's 19 and 50, I guess, would fit that bill. Certainly not telling the Orioles how to do their business, but that's been one of the headlines, one of the storylines to follow, as they are 28.5 games out of first place in the AL East.
Yeah, there's not going to be any recovering from that. They're chasing a couple of the biggest heavyweights in the sport right now.
Blocked by Holiday, and a nice job to keep Machado at first base.
And certainly has made things a lot easier for the Baltimore Orioles. You wonder, though, who will step up and pay for Machado. I mean, even if you're an Orioles fan and you maintain some hope that maybe Machado will come back, you could always re-sign him next year. But at the same time, you see their record and the position that they're in, there's no doubt Machado's going to end up somewhere.
Machado, Adam Jones, Zach Britton, Brad Brock, Chris Tillman. Top that list of pending free agents. Of course, as painful as the first 69 games have been for the Orioles, the other way to look at it, I suppose the positive way to look at it, is, well, if we know that some or most or all of those guys will not be back next year, well, you can put the accelerator on a rebuild. As Trumbo sends this one out to deep left center field. Dietrich is on the track, and it's off his glove. Machado, who is off with the pitch, will come around to score, and it's 3-0 Baltimore.
Yeah, this ball hit a long way. I bet you Derek Dietrich will tell you he probably should have had it. Did a nice job of getting himself into position, kind of navigating that track. Probably thought he was going to be up against the wall. Really didn't have to jump. The one thing he probably wants to do there is get to the spot a little better than he did. Almost try to time the catch as he was moving, and that's very difficult to do. Ideally, you want to get to that spot as fast as you can, so that you've got time to make an adjustment if the ball has changed lanes or the wind has moved it off of where you originally thought it was coming down. It's going to go as an RBI double. for Trumbo.
Jonathan Scope had a double back in the second inning. Came around to score on the Peterson two-base hit.
I knew today might be a challenging start for Richards in that breaking ball. We talked about it an awful lot. How, he used the changeup an awful lot, almost, well, that exclusively as a secondary pitch against the lefties, but against the righties, he's got to factor in his breaking ball a little bit more. Can't just throw them all changeups. And with that being said, if the breaking ball's not there, he could find himself in some trouble.
To 56 pitches with 2 outs here in the bottom of the third. Blocked again by Holiday. First inning, 1-2-3. The second inning gave up 3 hits. Also had a couple of strikeouts. Now this inning, another run home. And they tried to steal one on the edge, but Scope works the walk. 2 on and 2 out. Marlins fans, be sure to tune into Marlins Live, our pregame show before our next game, presented to you by your South Florida Honda dealers. A little later tomorrow, of course, on the West Coast, 9:30 on the air with Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson. First pitch in San Francisco a little after 10 o'clock. Caleb Smith expected to be back from the bereavement list, and Andrew Suarez, the starter for the San Francisco Giants, to get the Giants out of the way in rather short order. 7 games in 10 days, I believe, is the number, right?
That's right. Well, the Giants, they're still on that same road trip, the one that we saw them in Marlins Park down in Miami.
Right.
Marlins took 3 of 4, certainly hoping to build off of that in San Francisco. Played very well against the Giants over the last couple of years. The Giants, they've got to win today to avoid being swept by the Dodgers. After a promising start for that group, they're regrouping after having gone through Miami and LA.
And they started in Washington, and they had won
right, 2 or 3,
7 of 8 or something like that overall coming into the series.
Right.
We've got the Dodgers later on tonight. Chris Stratton and Caleb Ferguson, the 2 starting pitchers. But here it's Trevor Richards against Trey Mancini, and the throw down to second to keep Trumbo honest. Nine straight caught stealing. Obviously not caught stealing there, but just a heads up on how effective behind the plate Brian Holiday has been. 9 consecutive runners caught. 2-0.
Well, these have not been good misses by Richards. Sometimes you get caught making borderline pitches and you're not getting the call, but you feel good about where the ball is coming out of your hand and your mechanics feel right, and you just a couple of inches off norm. Right now he's missing by a mile. These are easy takes for Mancini, who has really struggled in this series. Seanie really drifting to that front side, having a hard time seeing the baseball.
And a ground ball up the middle, of base hit for Mancini. Around from third comes Trumbo. To third goes Scope. And it's 4-0 Baltimore.
Well, hitters like to talk about predictability. When you get ahead in the count, you start sitting on fastballs, and when the fastballs start to come, you just got to have a pretty decent swing, and you hopefully start finding some holes. And I think for the Baltimore Orioles right now, that's what they're feeling. They've been able to prey on Trevor Richards' fastball this afternoon. They found themselves in a few more hitters counts than they have in the first 2 games.
Looks like Randy Gonzalez is up in the bullpen for the Marlins. He called on Friday from Jacksonville. A strike to Jace Peterson. He drove in a couple on a double. Bounced over the right center field wall back in the 2nd inning. 2 more runs here in the 3rd against Trevor Richards, and the Orioles have a 4-0 cushion. So Peterson battled Richards a little bit back in that 2nd inning. Fouled one off, kind of hit the ball twice, got new life. Drove one out to the right center field gap to get the Orioles on the board. They held it there for a second, but didn't get the call. A ball and 2 strikes. I tell you what, Peterson leads the league in weird foul balls today. My goodness.
Second one. Brian Holliday's got his hands up as well. I'm as curious. I don't. I'm not sure why.
Like a wiffle ball game in the backyard. Like, nah, it's do-over.
He stated his case that the ball hit him on the foot, and maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But you're right. It seems like it's a pretty odd day for the foul balls and Jace Peterson.
Well, when he's up there, he makes it count, as you just saw. Pops this one up. Shallow center field. Back goes Riddle. In comes Maben, who will make the catch for the 3rd out. Another couple of runs for the O's, and it's 4-0.
Very cool for me, especially being here in Baltimore. My dad drove me and my brother out to Maryland a lot of times during summer ball. I played right down the street, kind of in Glen Burnie in the Cal Ripken Senior League. So for him, to be able to come here and be here on Father's Day, or even if he's not here on Father's Day, it's awesome to be able to play for him, and I'm so thankful for everything he's done for me in my career.
For from JB to JT Realmuto on the first pitch out to center field, and he was retired by Adam Jones. One quick out here in the fourth. And Justin Bour, as we mentioned before, some of the family of Justin Bour in attendance, an aunt and uncle here, enjoying a Sunday afternoon at the ballpark in support of Justin Bour, who grounded out to end the first inning. And looking for his first hit in this series. And boy, oh boy, the other day, and you noticed this, Holly, you pointed this out, his batting practice, he was not just hitting home runs as he does every day, but was just pounding that warehouse out there in right field.
Yeah. Wind wasn't blowing out either. Just walked out after the ball game, kind of check out where he was hitting them.
This one driven out to right field. I don't know if it'll get to the warehouse, but it's a home run for Justin Bour.
You had a good feeling about Bour today. Good matchup, man. There you go. It's been a while. Only his third home run on the road this season for the big guy. First hit of this road trip. Swing of the bat. Yeah, not nearly as far, but easily as effective. In fact, more effective. It counts.
That's right. There you go. How about that? And now Castro pops it up. This is Joseph over at first, and they're 2-0.
Let's give you another look. Fastball, belt high. Certainly worth mentioning. Told you that Bundy had struggled in the month of May. 13 home runs in only 32 innings. Staggering numbers. He's been very good this season, but when he's missed, especially with that fastball, it's been up in the zone.
First home run since the 27th of May against Washington. Bour, as the Marlins on the board, down 4-1 now as Cameron Maybin takes a called strike. It was fun, actually, speaking of the warehouse and where all those home runs are hit. It's you got to get into one to get it out to Utah Street. But what they do have, which is pretty cool here, is little medallions, I guess, or whatever you might want to call them, in the floor, in the street of where guys have hit home runs. As we were walking out of here yesterday, we kind of walked down Utah Street. It's like, oh, look, Chris Davis hit one here. And, oh, look.
Well, but it's not even, and I think the thing that makes it cool, and we saw, I mean, I don't know, maybe half the people that are out there is pretty crowded, but they were all doing what we were doing, kind of checking them all out.
Right.
But it's not Oriole specific, which I think is fantastic. It's, you know, there's home runs from a lot of visiting players.
On the ground to third, Peterson with a strong throw to get Maybin. Justin Bour with a home run to right field gets the Marlins on the board, down 4-1.
and cleared the fence. There's even markers that indicate where each ball has landed, but the most impressive home run may have come during batting practice of the 1993 All-Star game that was held here in Baltimore. It was hit by Ken Griffey Jr., and before landing on Utah Street, it bounced off of the wall right here. Guys, that ball traveled a distance of 465 feet.
Thank you, Jessica. And that one, a base hit for Craig Gentry. The guys are swinging at the first pitch this afternoon on both sides. A leadoff single to get the Orioles started here in inning number 4. Yeah, that one kind of the one that Jessica was talking about with Ken Griffey Jr. kind of just straight away right field and hit well. I mean, don't get me wrong, but as we were walking, I want to guess, I didn't look at my surroundings because I'm not that smart, but right around where there's a team store sign up on the wall, right about there was another marker for Ken Griffey Jr.
Right.
And that's deep right center field.
Yeah, there's a Paul O'Neill out there too.
Man, oh man.
Long way, isn't it?
It really is. You played a few games here, but you did not get it out to Utah Street, right? You went over the scoreboard?
Did not. I did hit one home run here. I only played a handful of games, I think 4 or 5 in my career.
Austin wins with a runner on first, nobody out in the 4th inning. Spins away from that one. But let's go back. Look at Holly. You wore that Rangers uniform for like an hour, didn't you?
Hey, I wasn't there long, right? I was only there for a couple of months. There you go. Yeah, 5 games. So I had what, 5 hits in, I think I had about 20 at bats. So there you go.
Now, it's a small sample size, and you homered here, so I'm sure there's a soft spot in your heart. As Wins goes up the middle of the base hit. And over to third goes Gentry. So the Orioles have runners on first and third. The O's have the offense going today.
It's been much more of a full court press for the Orioles offensively. Absolutely right about the early swinging. They've been jumping on that fastball, not letting him get to the changeup, kind of disqualifying it, knowing that he's got to get ahead, but being ready to swing the bat the minute they get in the box. And outside of that first inning, innings 2, 3, and 4, all sorts of traffic on the bases for the Baltimore Orioles, and another run scoring opportunity here in the bottom of the 4th.
The top of the lineup coming to the plate is Corbin Joseph, their leadoff hitter. On Friday night, played in his first big league game since 2013 when he was with the New York Yankees. Only his 3rd big league game Friday night. A couple of flyouts to Dietrich today. Walked as a pinch hitter last night. This one out to right field. Anderson getting underneath it. Tagging from third is Gentry. Here's to throw home, and he will keep the runner at third. No matter the league, it's getting around. Don't run on Anderson.
Well, right, and this isn't even a spot on, perfect dot to home, which you'd love to see. But again, not a terribly deep fly ball. We were watching the runner at third kind of dancing around over there. Here's the thing. And you see how that ball's, 7 or 8 feet wide. Gentry trying to draw that throw. That's exactly what all that movement was about. He had no intentions of going, but as you saw that ball cross right at the last second, even as fast as Gentry is, he wouldn't have been halfway home when that ball arrived. Holliday would have been able to pick it from about 7 feet away and probably go back and chase him down.
Now if he can get a ground ball, perhaps a double play gets him out of this inning, but not an easy test in the person of Adam Jones, who is 0 for 2 today. But perhaps the bat starting to come to life a little bit more. 4 for 11 in the series. Had a double last night that snapped a 43 at-bat streak without an extra base hit. This one to the right center field gap. And that one is off the wall. Maybe he'll play it there. One run in easily. Here comes the throw. It's high, backed up by Richards. Wings scores, and 2 in on the double by Adam Jones at 6-1.
Well, you've seen the approach the first couple of games, even from Adam Jones, not looking to necessarily pull everything, but really stay through the middle of the field. This is a pretty clear example. This is a breaking ball, 80 miles an hour. He was not trying to get out in front, going for that big swing. He was trying to drive in a run. He is rewarded with a couple of RBIs.
Don Mattingly out to take the ball from Trevor Richards. This Florida Lottery called the bullpen here in Baltimore, with the O's up 6-1. Deserves a second chance. Just play Grouper. Enter your lucky money ticket online, and you're registered for the $400,000 Super Grouper Second Chance promotion. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. So it's Mirandy Gonzalez, his second stint with the Marlins this year. Again, recalled from AA Jacksonville on Friday. He was also called up in mid to late April, but 6 games already with the Marlins, a .485 ERA. Facing Baltimore for the first time in his career. Came over in the A.J. Ramos deal with the New York Mets last year, around the trade deadline, July 27th. And he will face Manny Machado with Adam Jones on second. Again, Jones the responsibility of Trevor Richards, whose line not yet complete, but 3 runs, 9 hits, and at the moment 6 scored. 6 runs rather. We look for some length out of Gonzalez, as has been the case, or at least was the case, in his first stint. 5 of the 6 outings that he has had 2 innings or more. Just the 4th inning. There's a DH, so there's no need to have to double switch. His spot won't come up. It gets away from Holiday, but I don't know if Adam Jones saw just how far, as he stays put at second base. Balls and no strikes to Manny Machado. Outside, 3-0. Seventh in the major leagues and 4th in the AL, with a .392 batting average with runners in scoring position entering the day. That's one of the reasons why he is up to 52 RBIs, as he Has certainly made his presence felt in this series. It's a called strike.
And Machado definitely ready to swing the bat. Offered up at that 3-0 pitch.
By getting just 3 1/3 from Richards, as I mentioned, the look for length out of Gonzalez. 5 starts with Jacksonville, 0-1 with a 3.43 ERA. Opponents hit less than 200 against him. And that was Double-A. This is the big leagues, and this is Manny Machado fouling one off.
You see the big difference really between the 76-mile-an-hour curveball and the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Machado cued that right off the end of the bat.
Stays alive. He'll see another 3-2 pitch. With Mark Trumbo on deck. Randy Gonzalez getting set for a payoff pitch to the Miami native Manny Machado.
Gonzalez really painting the outside corner. Good velocity. Tell you what, get back to that inside corner, you might get Machado. His mind has got to be clearly on the outside. That's where the last 4 pitches have been.
Another 3-2 pitch on the way, and that one fooled him. As he strikes out Machado for his first of the day.
Sometimes you accidentally, make things work. This slider backs up, didn't hit his spot, but see the reminder, 4 pitches away when you're throwing that hard really gets a hitter to commit to away. And you see it and you think, all right, he's got to go back out there again. It's a 3-2 pitch, it's a 3-2 pitch, it's a 3-2 pitch. You back it up right there and it will almost always lock up a hitter.
Now Mark Trumbo. This one is sent out to deep left center field. Dietrich is back. He's on the edge of the track and he makes the catch. He's having a tough time with that sun out there.
I had it the whole time. Come on, man.
Style points. All right, fine. 6-1.
To me, I got lucky enough to have two dads. So my stepdad, really close with him. He's taught me everything that I know about sports and everything. And my dad's been right there, by my side as well. And I think back to when I was 8, 9, 10 years old playing at the YMCA, and I have pictures of both of them in the, I guess, team roster, like photo, coaching. So it's pretty cool.
Our thanks to JT Riddle for taking the time to talk about his dad and stepdad as he leads things off here in the top of the 5th inning against Dylan Bundy. Pitch is in there for a called strike. It's Riddle, Rivera, and Holiday here in the 5th.
Yeah, that last strike a little suspect.
Fooled me. Doesn't take much.
I'm going to need a little better effort from you than that.
I was so ready for that.
That doesn't look ready to me.
Like another foot up.
You ready?
And I had that one.
All right. Well, you looked a little delayed to me.
No.
You were on it?
I had that one. Yep. Adam Jones has that one. One away.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
On second thought, I might have taken that one right off the chest.
It's kind of where I
did
saw
have
it.
my hands out, but I don't think I was really ready for it.
I didn't see the level of enthusiasm that usually is associated with catching a foul ball that's coming in with that kind of spin and speed.
Right. Yeah.
You're kind of like thinking about it.
Well, I was looking at it, I go, wow.
It is really coming my way.
I can see Commissioner Manfred's name right there, and it's getting bigger. I should probably get ready. And then, of course, I thought, well, there goes my iPad.
Yeah.
That's going to be cracked. And I'm not going to bother JT Riddle to buy me another one.
That's why you got to be ready to catch it.
I got this one. Oh, no, that one's out to right. Okay. The depth perception's all off today. 2 outs here in the 5th inning as Bundy continues to cruise. Tomorrow, live coverage of the FIFA World Cup continues at 7 a.m. on FS1 as Sweden takes on Korea Republic. Then on Fox, Belgium battles Panama at 10 a.m. followed by Tunisia against England at 1. Catch all the action on Fox and FS1 or stream it live on the Fox Sports app. Brian Holiday takes a look at strike one. I will accept your apology whenever you're ready to give it, because I have Argentina. That's who I'm rooting for my roots, apparently.
Right, you're 12% Argentinian.
Yep. And you were all over me the other day when they tied.
Yeah, ties are bad.
Yeah, well, they're better than losing 1-0.
It's true.
Like Germany did today.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point. I understand.
I mean, you don't have to do it now. I'm not going to ask you to apologize to me on air.
What you want me to apologize for?
For mocking me?
Where and anywhere in the world is a tie a good thing?
When it's compared to a loss in which your team does not score. Goal differential is a big thing in the World Cup.
I'm a little more black and white than you.
All right.
No, I'm sorry, it's a draw, right?
Draw.
I need to correct myself.
Holiday is called out on strikes. And Holiday having some words for the home plate umpire, Chris Conroy, as the Marlins trail it in the 5th. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. The Cleveland Clinic, stiff joints, aches and pains. Trust Cleveland Clinic Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. And by the Lincoln Spring Sales Event, drive into spring in a new Lincoln. There's Brooks Robinson talking with Dan Duquette there on the left. Of course, Robinson, a Hall of Famer and Orioles great in his time here. An 18-time All-Star. That's right, 18-time All-Star. He won 16 Gold Gloves. You can search high and low, and Gold Gloves aside. I mean, that's obviously one thing, but I don't know if there was a better defensive third baseman in the history of the game.
Right. Well, everybody who plays the position, basically, whenever the conversation comes up, somehow gets compared to him. It's, you know, that's where it goes. And we always had phrases, and, you know, even in the minor leagues, and, you know, well, that's, you know, you just made a play like Brooks.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? It's like everything leads back to him.
18-time All-Star, 16 Gold Gloves, a World Series MVP, an All-Star Game MVP, a League MVP. It is no surprise that his #5 is retired. 23 big league seasons. Two-1 to Jonathan Scope, all the way to the backstop. 3-1. And the Orioles have had some of the game's greats come through here. The city, that is. This ballpark opened up in 1992, but you got obviously Brooks Robinson, and then you have Cal Ripken Jr., he of the 2,632 consecutive games. Frank Robinson, who won an MVP in both leagues. And their numbers all immortalized here at Camden Yards as Randy Gonzalez issues the leadoff walk here in the 5th.
Scope continues to improve on his perfect day so far. Double and a couple walks.
Don't forget to stay tuned in the middle of the 7th for the Ram game break. Trey Seanie digs in, 1 on and nobody out. Ball in there for a called strike. Seanie with an RBI single in the 3rd inning. The Orioles have scored 2 runs in each of the last 3. All after Trevor Richards went 1-2-3 in the 1st. 0-2. This one is tapped to short. Riddle on the run. Gets the out at first base. And there is 1 out here in the 5th.
Well, another outstanding defensive play by the Marlins and JT Riddle. So roller to the left side. Wow, good play. A quick look. 1 step and a throw. Strong one.
Marlins do not lack good overall defense, but certainly on the infield.
It's been a big part of the winning. Beaten 4 of the last 12 ball games. There's a lot of different areas you can go to, but well, we shouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, at least that one was clearly a foul ball. Painful one, but clearly a foul ball.
That Don Mattingly has mentioned many times over the last week or so, you know, a different phase of the Marlins as well as they've been playing, whether it's the relief corps or it's been the offense in key situations and the defense being good. I mean, I really believe it. I know there was another good stretch a little earlier in the season, but when you look at what's going on now, like, this is the best that the Marlins have played as a unit in a stretch that we've seen this year, last couple of weeks. All started in St. Louis, really. Day off, long road trip. Won a couple games and had a great homestand.
Well, they had just gotten swept Well, they won the opener of that long road trip you're talking about on Memorial Day in San Diego. They win that game. They're feeling good. Kind of like it felt like a day off in between games 1 and 2 of that series, but then they lost 3 in a row. Tough ones mixed in there too in San Diego. All 3 swept in Arizona. They lost 6 in a row, and then they get to St. Louis, who've been playing some pretty good baseball. They win 2 out of 3. As Peterson drives one out to right field, and it's a home run for Jace Peterson. The Orioles open up a bit more.
Well, for many of these Orioles, the heavy weight is being lifted off their shoulders as this game continues on. They've scored 8 runs, 10 hits. They've been really slumping during this 9-game losing streak that they're hoping to snap out of today. A number of Orioles hitters struggling. This changeup, tailing action to the outside part of the plate. I'll tell you what, Peterson saw it pretty well.
There's 4 RBIs today for Jace Peterson.
His first home run of 2018. He's had some big RBIs this afternoon. Not known for his power, but just enough. Hot day here in Baltimore.
So the O's in control today, and the O's looking for a W at home for the first time since May 13th. That's right, they have not won at home in over a month. As Craig Gentry fouls that one back. They beat the Tampa Bay Rays 17-1 that day. But Showalter certainly remembers that it was Dylan Bundy who got the win. Dylan Bundy in line for the win right now.
The Baltimore Orioles have done a much better job this afternoon with runners in scoring position. 4 for 11 coming in this afternoon's ball game. 4 for their previous 38.
Keep the pattern going. 2 runs in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the fourth, 2 in the fifth. As Gentry gets set to see a 2-2 pitch from Merandy Gonzalez. And he strikes him out. It's the second strikeout of the day for Gonzalez. 2 out here in the fifth. We flash you back this day. A day in Marlins history, but at this ballpark, you try to walk Miguel Cabrera, he will just have none of it. Presented to you by Geico, June 22nd. And they spoiled the intentional walk, and an RBI single to score. Hanley Ramirez really changed the course of that game right there. I mean, just like, no, I'm hitting here. I don't care what you say.
You know what's so funny about that play, and again, it's like, you know, the circles, you know, in baseball. Now, I was raised with Todd Williams in that in our minor league careers. We were both Dodger minor leaguers, and Todd had, you know, he threw from the side just a little unorthodox. He always had problems with that. I'm never surprised at that every time we see it. We had him a number of times in Albuquerque. Let's watch it one more time. He had a hard time not throwing the ball, you know, with his normal delivery anytime, even in warm-ups before a game. So as you see, he just kind of lobs it over, and Mickey says, you're not going to get away with that one.
Yeah, I didn't really sense a lot of conviction on that throw.
He never had conviction. That's the point. Like, but I knew that. I think it's so funny. Like, even to see it, you know, obviously our careers went in different paths, but see Todd up on that bump. No surprise he tried it, and Mickey made him pay for it.
Foul right back to the screen by Austin Wynns. Unfortunately, Miguel Cabrera having to have surgery on his arm. And season over, unfortunately, for Miguel Cabrera. Needs, what, about 6 weeks to regain full range of motion. As wins comes up empty. Back-to-back strikeouts. We are through 5. We'll check in with the folks in the studio on the other side of the break. Covering some ground with that terrific speed of his as Derek Dietrich leads things off. Top of the order due up for the Marlins. Dietrich, Anderson, and Real Muto against Dylan Bundy, who now has himself a 7-run cushion to work with as he's out there for the 6th. And his first pitch to Dietrich is outside for ball 1. A walk and a strikeout today for the Marlins left fielder. Laces this one foul and into the seats. This group here at the top that's all due up this inning. You talk about run distribution or run production distribution. The Marlins certainly have plenty of that.
No, they've been doing a very nice job this year. It's a pretty good look. We were talking about this before the game, and I think Marlins fans will appreciate this. We know that a lot of times there's a negative connotation or an idea that the Marlins offense isn't as talented as others. But when you look at things like that, it realizes that, you know what, they can compete, they can kind of hang in there, and they can score some runs. Look at that. So they've got 6. There's only one other National League team. You see the Dodgers in there that have one more player with 25+ RBIs. It's good to see Dietrich up. He certainly has got 25 RBIs. And I know some of those numbers kind of lead people to believe that, and again, I get it, you're at the bottom 5 of the league or bottom 5 of Major League Baseball, but there are definitely evidences of guys having good years, guys learning, guys getting better, and guys producing.
Bour with a home run, another RBI for him today. His 30th, as this one is sent out to left center field, and that will fall in. A base hit for Derek Dietrich. That will lead off the 6th. Let's take a look at our Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight as we focus in on Cameron Baranek. The Greensboro Grasshoppers on a 12-game hit streak. 19 for 44 in that stretch. It's a .422 average, a couple of homers. Hitting .315 in 27 games this season. A 9th-round pick of the Marlins last year out of Hope International University. A very nice start. Brian Anderson, a big swing and miss. Speaking of streaks, a 14-game on-base streak for BA. But 0 for 2 today. A fly out in the first and a strikeout in the third. Well, here's one, and I think I started thinking about it actually in Wrigley Field when it was still kind of new to Brian Anderson, but right field. And we talked about how difficult right fields can be, and arguably, and I would certainly defer to you because you've played out there, but maybe the 3 hardest right fields will all be on the calendar this year. He's been at Wrigley Field. San Francisco is, from an outsider, a nightmare, and then you've got Fenway Park coming up in August. So when he walks in the door at AT&T Park tomorrow, what's the first thing you think he does?
Well, he's going to look up at that big, huge wall that's behind him, and it kind of chases all the way into center field. And he's going to be like, all right, how does the ball come off this wall? And it's a great guess because it comes off a lot of different ways. We'll get into that in the Giants series, but there's a lot of things going on out there. So, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, not to mention the temperatures and how the ball is flying. It's always a factor at AT&T Park. Ball travels a little different this time of year, much cooler temperatures.
On the air with our Marlins Live pregame show at 9:30 tomorrow night. A 3-game series with the San Francisco Giants. First pitch a little after 10. And a day off Thursday and 3 in Colorado to wrap up this 3-city road trip as Anderson spins out of the way of that one. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Now the Orioles, Bundy included, have really challenged, and I mean not necessarily mean by challenge with good pitches, but have really kind of tried to push Anderson off that inside corner. And I told you many times that he's not been forced really to react or overreact to the inside part of the plate.
Again, Bundy has been the guy for the Orioles this year, and he has fared very well against the National League East, as he is doing today. Still going pretty well here in the 6th inning. Prior to today, a .237 average in 3 career starts against the NL East. As he walks Anderson.
Tell you what, that's a quality at bat right there for Brian Anderson. We'll move past it probably tomorrow, and we'll drop some numbers on you how he hit in the Baltimore series, but in all honesty, that's a fantastic at bat. Got down in the count, laid off a couple of tough pitches, and worked a walk.
FPL is proud to support our first responders in good weather and bad. See how at FPL.com.
Now it's a 15-game on-base streak for Brian Anderson. As the Marlins look to start a little bit of a rally. Obviously, a lot of work to do here. As Real Muto grounds that one foul.
Well, right man, right spot. You want to get back in this ball game. JT, a couple home runs yesterday, real good swings. Both home runs went to center field. Strikeout victim in the first, fly ball in the 4th.
An 0-2 to JT Real Muto. This one to third. Peterson to second. And Real Muto beats it out. So it's a fielder's choice. And that will erase Anderson, but the Marlins have runners on the corners and 1 out.
Yeah, they choose to go the long way. JT taking that extra step, able to beat it out. Certainly makes sense. First out in the inning, up 8-1.
Now it's Justin Bour, who homered back in the 4th inning to get Miami on the board, but that's really been it. The 1 hit, or the 1 run rather, and the 3 hits. Bundy up to 80 pitches, which for him is really nothing. Up to 121 pitches a few outings ago. Consistently in the 90s. 104 his last time out. Wide open left side of the infield as they expect Bour to pull on the ground. He pulled one into the right center field seats. His team leading 11th home run and 30th RBI. May have another one here. Boy, that one is just tattooed to right field. Justin Bour with a 3-run bomb, and it is now a little bit closer. It's 8-4.
Well, a big day for the big guy. Family on hand. Certainly good to see. Almost the same spot, a little more oomph in this one. First home run. What was it, about 3-4 rows deep? This up on the flag court in right field, above those same seats. 109 miles an hour off the bat. No doubter.
What were you saying in the first inning? You liked the matchup?
Yeah, I really did. I'm telling you, I thought it was a good matchup for Bour. He's a good breaking ball hitter. I like that it just made some sense to me. Sometimes you think silly things. I know that JB has had some really big days on getaway day, oddly enough. I didn't mention it early on. I just thought it was a favorable matchup that would, go his way.
It certainly has, as Castro down the right field line. That's going to be a base hit. And it gets into that tricky corner. And a stand-up double for Starlin Castro on the heels of the Bour home run.
Castro picks up his first hit of the series. Good to see the bat start to go. It was far from over, everybody. Tell you what, center cut fastball, 93 miles an hour. Starlin finds that right field line. I mentioned as the batting average was going down, he certainly was struggling a little bit over his last few ball games. Almost like he was trying to pull the ball a little bit more. That swing right there is a little bit more of what we've seen from Castro this year, willing to go to all fields and stay inside the ball when he's trying to get out of a slump.
The other Castro, Miguel Castro, begins loosening in the Orioles bullpen.
Maybe a base hit to right his first time up. Stole third base as well. Was unable to get him in. 1 for 2 on the afternoon.
Well, just looking in the Marlins game notes here, their home run breakdown, if my math is correct, and usually I'm pretty good at counting to 5, but that is only their 5th 3-run home run this year. Bour now has 2 of them.
I believe it's their 5th multi-homer game by a player.
Second in back-to-back games. Seven multi-homer games.
Darn it.
That's all right. It's okay.
Try pulling it out of my back pocket. Didn't work.
Don't do that now.
Thought we were playing a game of Topper.
You always win that one anyway. Or wasn't it didn't that whole we're sitting around and waiting for the 3-run home run? That was like an Orioles thing back in the day, wasn't it?
Certainly was. Well, I mean, I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the series. It's kind of, you look at the Orioles, it's kind of what they've dealt with. It's the fact that I get that overriding sense, and they just don't create runs nearly as well as maybe they used to. It hasn't been the case today. They've been very good about that. Getting through the runners in scoring position out at you early. JT Riddle 0 for 2 on the afternoon. He's had a couple of nice at bats, a couple of lineouts. I mentioned coming in over the last week, really starting to swing that bat well. In fact, he's lined out 3 times in this series. Coming into today, hitting .316 over the last week or so. A couple of doubles, a home run, 4 RBIs.
Upstairs to Riddle. Had a base hit taken away from him back in the second inning on a low line drive out to right field, but Gentry was able to make the catch. Also lined out to center field. This one a fly ball out to left center. And Mancini puts it away, but a big swing, the second home run of the day for Justin Bour has closed the gap. Marlins within 4 here in Baltimore.
One of the most legendary players in the game, Babe Ruth. He was born in Baltimore back in 1895. You can learn all about his roots, his path to becoming a Major League Baseball player, and you can check out awesome memorabilia like this. This is a bat that Babe Ruth actually played with. Guys, this place is awesome.
Jessica, thank you very much. Make sure you're back in time for the plane later, because I'm sure you can get lost in a Babe Ruth museum. I think no matter if you talk about obviously Yankees history, yes, but even baseball history, Babe Ruth has got to be on that Mount Rushmore, right? You think of the
great Bambino,
like the pillars of baseball history. It goes through Babe Ruth. He's the one that put it on the map. And it all started here in Baltimore. Swung on and missed by Corbin Joseph, who leads off the bottom of the 6th inning. Joseph, Jones, and Machado, as Miranda Gonzalez and the Marlins are a bit closer after the 3-run home run by Justin Bour. It's now 8-4. Gonzalez came in after 3 1/3 innings from Trevor Richards. As he gets the strikeout. That is his 4th of the afternoon.
Center fielder, number 10, out.
Don't miss your chance to get the last Life brand t-shirt on Friday, June 29th. For just $35, you'll get the limited edition shirt and a game ticket as the Marlins take on the Mets. Visit marlins.com/life today.
Those are slick. I got to get my hands on one of those. Got to make a phone call. Be nice to somebody. I mean, I'll model it if they ask me to. I just have to have our.
I think Brian Anderson does a better job.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, but
no, you got your blue tie on today and all.
What I was going to say was, we got Cato, one of our terrific photographers here. I'll just have him take a picture. He took a picture of me. He'll make it look great. It's not the subject; it's the artist. Just saying.
I'm guessing at some point they'll make a t-shirt of you.
You know who's going to do it? You or our producer? And I think I know what's going to be on it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Listen, this Marlins bullpen really needs to settle in and keep the score in place. I'm telling you, I think the Marlins got a little more push left in them. They've got a few more cracks at this Orioles staff. They might get all the way back. We shall see. But the bullpen's been good over the last 12 ball games. We know the Marlins have been 8-4, but how about a 1.65 ERA coming into today? How good the bullpen has been.
That 1.63 ERA is third in baseball and first in the National League in that span.
Right. Well, I mean, that's part of what Don Mattingly's talked about. He talked about the defense being fantastic, timely hitting. I talked about it a little bit in the pregame show today. Runners in scoring position. Marlins hitting .294 over this 12-game stretch. This is all good stuff as this team starts to grow and play and learn and start piling up some wins.
Pitching coach Juan Nieves has to be proud of what he's seen. Bullpen coach Dean Trainer, I'm sure, as well. And Randy Gonzalez to this point, 2 innings, a hit, a couple of runs, but a walk and 4 strikeouts. Potentially a pitch away from number 5 as Adam Jones has a new bat after breaking it on the foul ball a moment ago, and here comes a 2-2. Pokes it out to second base. Castro 2 away. Well, that's the job of Gonzalez today. As I mentioned, 3 in the third, 9 hits and 6 runs from Trevor Richards. So his job is, as I mentioned when he came out, was give the team length, yes, but also kind of try his best to keep the Orioles where they are at, because just in the last week in that Giants series, what was the number? 8 times they came back?
Well, and again, I know at 8-1 it feels a little heavy, but you know, this is the baseball player in me talking, and I'll explain it a little bit better. You know, you hope that Gonzalez goes out there and doesn't give up a run, but let's be realistic. If he's going to go multiple innings, that might be a possibility. I feel like he's pitched pretty well today. Yes, he's given up a home run. The point is this: it's the flow of the game and getting your guys back in and giving them a chance to score runs. That's the one thing that can happen in a game like this, where you know your starter doesn't last long. He's given up some runs. You come into the ball game and every at bat is 6 or 7 pitches. It just continues to wear everybody out and wear everybody down. They've already been out there a long time, but if you're crisp, making pitches, attacking the strike zone, you do have a chance.
A shot out down the left field line, but into the seats, a ball and 2 strikes.
And that's the idea. You've got to come in and attack that strike zone so that you get your guys off the field. If there's any hope of getting back into the ball game or the guys kind of getting that spring in their step back, it's because you're getting them on the field for defense and then right off.
Be the 45th pitch out of the bullpen for Gonzalez, and he strikes out Machado for the 2nd time this afternoon. That's 5 Ks for Merandy Gonzalez. If the Marlins can continue to chip away at what is an 8-4 deficit.
game, and thanks to him, I'm here today. All the support through the years, and I'm really thankful to my dad for putting me in baseball and growing up all that, and I'm just thankful for him. Hola, Pai, bendición, feliz Día de los Padres, gracias por todo lo que has hecho por nosotros y por enseñarme a jugar este hermoso deporte que hoy en día es el más que amo. Gracias, Pai.
Yadiel Rivera leading things off here in the top of the 7th inning. The Marlins down 8-4 as we welcome you inside our broadcast booth. Paul Severino, Todd Hollingsworth, Jessica Blaylock with us as well. Again, a very happy Father's Day to all those celebrating, all those dads, past and present. We appreciate you. I'm sure we wouldn't be here without you. So very nice to say that today. A special day for sure, and a good ball game so far.
Yeah, it really has been. Marlins battling back. Hopefully they can get it all the way back to even and see where it takes them. They're okay with that. I know it's hot out there, but again, it's a big day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there as well. My crew of 4. Certainly very proud. Can't be with him. Obviously, we're on the road right now, but also my son Ty. It's his birthday.
Oh, fantastic.
Every year it always seems to happen that way, right?
Terrific.
17th of June, and it's his birthday. He loves it. So we kind of share the day together, so it's really cool. But yeah, it's a good ball game, and the Marlins are playing great baseball right now. That's the one thing that I think we've been so excited about. Long road trip, but team playing pretty good.
Yeah, again, they have won 8 of 12 coming into today as Joey Rickard takes over in left field. And Trey Mancini moves from left to first. And the new pitcher, as you can see, is Miguel Castro. Called strike. Mancini over at first. '27th game this year for Castro. Right back up the middle and a knock for Rivera. Back-to-back games with a hit. Again, snapped that 0 for 16 yesterday.
Yeah, with more playing time, the at-bat's getting a little bit better. Good start to this 7th inning. Why not? I feel like this Marlins team has a little bit more push, and nice job by Rivera. See how choked up he was on the bat? Nothing wrong with doing that when you don't necessarily feel great at the plate, or you're working on your swing, trying to get your timing down, shorten up that path, and give yourself a fighting chance. Watched that a number of times this year from many of these Marlin hitters.
And a base hit for Holiday. So here comes Miami.
I'm telling you.
Back-to-back hits to start the 7th.
Ryan Holiday swinging the bat well, coming in, had a 2-hit day just the other day. Had some pretty decent at bats today as well. Gets himself a base hit. Lineup turns over. You get back up to the top. Some home run potential. Top of this Marlins lineup today.
This is Derek Dietrich. Singled and scored in the 6th. Takes ball 1. We've seen Castro in this series. So another look for the Marlins as Dietrich looks at that one. 2 balls and no strikes. Pitched on Friday night. Had a couple of outs. Gave up a hit and a strikeout. 7th inning. 3-0. Michael Gibbons was on the bump in last night's ball game. One.
Generous 3-0 pitch.
Hence my hesitation.
Yeah, I know. You're giving me the look. You got to verbalize that look, though, sometimes. People at home don't know it.
Sometimes saying less is more. Couple of home runs today for Justin Bour. Waiting in the wings. After Dietrich, it's Anderson, Realmuto, and then Bour. That one is definitely outside, and the bases are loaded with nobody out.
And the right man for the job. My goodness, Buck Showalter.
Sprinting out the dugout.
I think I've seen it that fast this year. Barely got the look up. He's already on the way to the mound. He's frustrated. Certainly is this Orioles team trying to break their 9-game losing streak.
Florida Lottery call to the bullpen. We'll see Michael Givens. Marlins have him loaded in the 7th. Gives up base hit, walk. And for the Orioles, a team that was up 8-1 at one point, hasn't won a game at home since May 13th. They don't want to see this one get away, as Michael Givens comes out for his 31st game this year. And he has got his back against the wall with Rivera, Holliday, and Dietrich, the runners 3rd to 1st, and one of the best in baseball with runners in scoring position, Brian Anderson, at the plate. And he takes inside for ball 1.
Well, Givens four-seam fastball, change, and slider. Throws hard. He's got a good arm. He's hitting 270, righties 218.
Got on and missed. The ball and the strike. Anderson entered the day leading all rookies and 5th in baseball with a .413 batting average with runners in scoring position. Fouls that one away, 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. Swung on and missed. 95 miles an hour at the top of the zone. A big first out for Givens.
Well, he saved his highest velocity pitch for last. Challenged him in the strike zone at 93. Top of the strike zone at 95.
But as we've been talking about, a lot of hot bats in the lineup right now. So yes, you get through Anderson, but now here's Realmuto. And he takes ball 1. Realmuto with a couple of home runs yesterday.
Justin Bour on deck with a couple of home runs today.
That's right. And on the hands, and it's 1-1.
You see that front side open up a little bit on Givens. There's the pen activity. Scott, he throws hard as well. From the left side for Givens. Kind of flies open a little bit. Little arm side run. 95, 96 miles an hour.
This one is skied out to left field. Moving toward the line is Rickard. Gearing up for the throw. And a quick bluff at third. Rivera stays put. There are 2 away.
But Showalter on his way to the mound. He's going to go get the lefty for Justin Bour.
Couple of home runs today for Bour. But he is not going to face Givens. Florida Lottery called the bullpen. They are still loaded for Miami. And coming to the plate is Justin Bour, who's had himself a big afternoon with a couple of home runs.
Well, Dylan Bundy came in as one of the hottest pitchers in the American League. He introduced himself to Mr. Bundy rather quick. First, a fastball up. See home run number 1. This, a changeup. How about the exit velocity of 109? 437 feet. Wow. Impressive stuff.
Second multi-home run game this year for Bour and 5th of his career.
I'll tell you what, he's got the chance to have a game of a lifetime if he can come up with another one right here in this spot.
One in the dirt from Tanner Scott. He was the 3rd Orioles pitcher of the inning, pitching in his 15th game this year for Baltimore.
Yeah, he's going to see a fastball, and he's going to see a slider, and he's going to see velocity. This young man throws hard. 97, 98 miles an hour on the four-seamer, the slider at 90. He's not giving up a home run to a lefty yet this season.
Two and one.
Which in your book means he's due.
Yeah.
Due to give up one.
Absolutely. Cody Ross in 2006, the last Marlin with a 3-homer game.
Good swing. Good swing.
Rivera, Holiday, Dietrich, 3rd to 1st. 2-2 pitch is in there for a called strike 3. Marlins with a golden opportunity in the 7th inning. The bases loaded, nobody out. Strikeout, fly out, strikeout. They trail at 8-4. The 7th inning as the Marlins had a golden opportunity and bases loaded, nobody out. Still a couple of chances to get out of Baltimore before heading to San Francisco and Colorado with a victory. Tomorrow through Wednesday, a 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants by the Bay, and then a day off, and it's a Rocky Mountain High from Friday to Sunday. As for the second time this season, the Marlins will take on the Colorado Rockies. Haven't seen them since late April. Caleb Smith and Andrew Suarez, however, start the series in San Francisco. And I say, haven't seen them in a while because we just saw the San Francisco Giants like an hour ago. That's how it feels.
That's right. 4-game series. You mentioned already the San Francisco Giants struggling to finish up their road trip, so maybe some opportunity there. But the Marlins play well against the National League West. They have all season. In fact, it's their favorite division. Only, I think, a game under 500 against the National League West. So an opportunity. Rockies haven't played well at Coors Field this year. Stunning.
Oddly enough. Absolutely right. Mark Trumbo to lead things off, and then Jonathan Schoop and Trey Mancini. As the Orioles have to be feeling good that they got out of that inning. Bases loaded and nobody out. Still up 8-4.
You're absolutely right. I mean, the feeling that you have sometimes when you're in the middle of a long losing streak is that nothing is ever easy or given to you, and you're thinking, okay, well, the offense has been our big issue. We scored 8 runs today. Okay, well, now we should win. We finally scored some runs. But as I think we can kind of sense with Buck Showalter as we watched him hustling out to the mound a couple of times that inning, that just never easy. It really isn't. You don't get back into that rhythm overnight.
And I say this, or I ask this, knowing how the Marlins have gone the last week. Are you surprised that they didn't come up with the big hit? Because there have been so many in the last week.
I ran the numbers out. We ran them out early a couple of times today. They've been so good with runners in scoring position. Again, league leaders, and I'm talking the whole group. I'm not talking about individuals. And they were able to get some key outs from the top of the lineup, which I just didn't see happening. That was the sense that I had, was that if you get a few guys on, you give Anderson, Real Muto, and Bour. I mean, you went right through the middle of the lineup and you didn't get even a run. So an emotional victory is what you call that for the Baltimore Orioles. No damage.
But despite the strikeout there, it's still a big day for Justin Bour. A couple of home runs, a loud one out to right center field. But right now in a losing effort here in the 7th inning. A ball and 2 strikes to Mark Trumbo. Cracks one out to right field. Anderson turns and looks, and that's a home run. A solo homer for Mark Trumbo.
The 4th home run this season from Mark Trumbo. I'll tell you what, he's had a big day. 3rd hit.
And 3rd run scored. .205 in his career. Creeping up on 600 RBIs. Here's Jonathan Schoop. Breaking ball, it didn't break. 1-0. We have noted multiple times that the Orioles have not been playing their best baseball, having lost 9 in a row, 16 of 18. They've lost 7 straight, 1-2, lost 9. That's what that stretch looks like. And it's about to get even harder for them. They'll have an off day tomorrow, but then they are at Washington, not far down the road, but at Washington, then at Atlanta, and then 4 here against Seattle. So it has already been a tough start to this season. I guess one way to look at it, coming into the series, and you do a little bit of homework on the club, and you figure out, all right, how they do, and you see some articles, and you see, well, they're starting to creep up on where that 1988 Orioles team was. Now that 1988 Orioles team started the season 0-21. A swing for Schoop, 3-2. In 1988, they started 0-21 through 69 games. They were 19-50. The 2018 Orioles through 69 games are 19-50. So one of the worst starts in franchise history. Mentioned they've got the Nationals up next. The Nationals are currently in Toronto, tied at 5 with the Toronto Blue Jays. Too short. Riddle. One away. Time for the Toyota Inside Look. Beautiful ballpark took 33 months to build, but it opened up on April 6, 1992. The 10th, it's amazing to think, the 10th oldest ballpark in Major League Baseball right now. There's so many new ballparks, and really a lot of them kind of, not necessarily the design, but just kind of the feel of a new ballpark that has an old feel to it.
Yeah, let me say this, an incredibly loyal fan base as well. We've noticed throughout the 3 games, Orioles aren't playing good baseball right now. They've done okay on the attendance meter. You know, usually when teams are playing this bad, oof,
yeah, 25,000 a game.
They've drawn over 3 million fans 9 times in their history, and I know that if they start winning again, you know, probably not going to be this year, but when they do, they'll draw another 3 million.
The middle for Mancini, but Riddle gets to it. It was like going through foot-high grass. I thought that ball was going to get through easily, and it just slowed down as it went over the mound.
Well, he hit it off the end of the bat a little bit. JT gets to a lot of balls. Certainly makes it look a lot easier than it really is. JT about 6'2", tall, lanky. Kind of like a shortstop who used to play here for a while.
Ah, that Cal fella. Refer to him. Big day for Jace Peterson. 4 RBIs to tie a career high. Perhaps it's a Marlins thing, because the only other time that he did it was in 2015 when he was with the Braves against the Marlins. Also keep our eye on what's going on in Atlanta right now, where the Braves have a 2-0 lead as Riddle is involved in all 3 of the putouts in that inning. However, a home run from Trumbo makes it 9-4. Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Paul, Marlins catching coach Brian Schneider, one of the dads celebrating Father's Day today. He's got his son Holden here in Baltimore with him, and Holden is having a great time.
It's cool because I get to hang out and like see all the guys, play catch with him, hit with him. It's really cool for my dad to be a coach for the Miami Marlins.
Remember Holden from a couple of years ago, pulled his tooth out in the most epic way possible, attached it to a baseball and hit it off the tee. Guys, Brian Schneider has one cool kid.
Absolutely. And one brave kid. I could not do that. No chance.
We know that, Paul.
Yeah, I know. I'm soft. But, you know, Dad's a big league catcher.
Yeah. That was from last year, and the tooth did come out.
Right. Castro into the gap in left center field. And that will be a leadoff double here in the 8th.
Castro picking it up over his last couple at bats. Back-to-back doubles. So another look. First pitch slider up, out, and off the wall in left center field.
Brad Brock into the game for the Baltimore Orioles, their 5th pitcher of the day, his 28th game this year. Inside to Cameron Maben. Been working as their closer, as they were without Zach Britton for a little bit of time, most of the season to this point. About a week ago he got back from that right Achilles injury. So 10 saves in the 27 games for Brock. Gets the edge. Strike to Maben. He singled and had a stolen base back in the 2nd inning. Ground out, pop up as well today.
Fastball slider change from Brock.
Orioles got their scoring started in the 2nd inning with 2 runs, then 2 more in the 3rd, and then the 4th, and then the 5th. And then a single run in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the Marlins had a terrific opportunity in the 7th inning. They had the bases loaded. The 6th inning, rather. They had the bases loaded. No, it was the 7th inning. You're right. You're right, Paul. Stick with it. You're right. Devastated by their bases loaded, no out situation. Couldn't get the job done. Neither can I. 2-2. Called strike 3, 1 away.
Stayed with the fastball on the outside corner against Maben. Gets the call. Borderline pitch. Enough for the first out here in the 8th.
And now JT Riddle. And as Riddle was making all 3 of the assists at the end of the 7th inning, when he got that last one, I said, we'll keep an eye on what's going on in Atlanta. I didn't finish my thought. My thought was that the Atlanta Braves, led by Julio Teheran today, 6 hitless innings to begin the day. He walked 3, struck out 11, had 95 pitches before being lifted. The Padres have since registered their first hit of the day. But a tight ball game nonetheless. Padres have been playing some better baseball. 5 games under 500 with the Braves in first place in the National League East. They have a 2-0 lead right now, but the Pods threatening. Elsewhere in the division, the Philadelphia Phillies up 4-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning in Milwaukee. They've got their ace going in Aaron Nola. It's 4 strikeouts through 4 innings of work today. Outside to Riddle. Draws the 4-pitch walk. 2 on and 1 out.
Yeah, the Marlins 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position today. Got to improve upon that. MLB at Bat is your #1 app for Marlins baseball. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Marlins home screen icons, features such as MLB.TV, Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. J.B. Shuck is going to get the at-bat for Rivera. JB 0 for 8 in the series.
This one skied out to shallow center field. Machado calling everybody off, and he will make the catch for the second out here in the 8th inning. Bring up Brian Holiday. Rest of that National League East scoreboard. The New York Mets play the Arizona Diamondbacks later today. The Mets actually got in the win column yesterday. They had lost 12 of 13. They picked up a win yesterday. Strong outing from Steven Matz.
Michael Conforto, big 3-run home run.
That's right.
Well, they feel the Marlins nipping at their heels in the win column.
Holiday left side. Peterson is there. And the inning is over. To the bottom of the 8th here in Baltimore with the Orioles up a handful.
Military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
Back in Baltimore, Orioles up 9-4. Paul Severino, Todd Hollingsworth, and Jessica Blaylock. J.B. Shuck, who pinch hit for Yadiel Rivera in the top of the inning, stays in the ballgame out in right field, and that moves Brian Anderson over to third base. Still a little work to do here this afternoon as we enter the bottom of the 8th inning. We're coming up when it's all done. The Marlins Live post-game show presented to you by W.B. Mason, Craig Minervini, and Gabby Sanchez standing by in studio. We'll hear from Don Mattingly. Get his take on Trevor Richards today. He gave up 6 runs in 3 1/3. I'm sure he'll have some nice things to say about Justin Bour, who had a 2-home-run day. sure a nice thing to say about Randy Gonzalez too. I mean, obviously just if the score holds, of course, you're not going to be satisfied with a loss. However, you don't dip too far into that bullpen as you start this long road trip. He's already given them 3 2/3 out of the pen, and he's struck out 5. He's given up 2 hits and 3 runs. To 65 pitches.
Other than the Peterson home run, he's been outstanding. I mentioned a couple of different times. See that little cut fastball, 93 to 95. My goodness, it's got some movement on it. He's struck Machado out twice on the pitch. He's got good stuff.
Three 3-0 to Craig Gentry. He's in there for a called strike. After Gentry, Austin wins in the top of the order. Bring it 2. Pitch is kind of nasty when it's working, isn't it?
Telling you. 93, 95. Actually, a cut fastball. You know, you've got different reports that tell you different things. I know what my eyes are telling me.
Tip foul. Marlins get on a plane to San Francisco after this one. 3-game series starting tomorrow night. Caleb Smith back off the bereavement list will get the ball. Marlins look to pick up where they left off when the Giants were in Miami a few days ago, having won 3 out of 4. The only game they lost, they tied it on a sac fly in the 9th inning, and then went 16 innings and fell to the Giants. On the ground to Riddle, and Gentry is retired.
Riddle's been a busy man of late. He's recorded the last 4 outs.
Catcher number 61, Austin.
Get his work in today.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of different themes coming out of today's ball game. Obviously, Richards struggled with his command early. Some fastballs out over the plate. This Orioles team are ready to swing the bats. Don't want to mess around with that changeup too much. I'll say this though, Marlins have been able to put some runners on here of late. Which get the big 3-run home run from Bour, along with his solo shot. Marlins have left 6 guys on base in the last 3 innings.
They've had some chances.
When you see that 9-4, I mean that could be 9-6, 9-7. Maybe it's a different, different feel at least moving to the top of the 9th.
The top of the 9th, it may see Zach Britton in the game as he is up in the Orioles bullpen. Wins down the right field line will reach the seats. Still 0-2. Day off for the Orioles tomorrow, and then they will take on the Washington Nationals. The Beltway series. The Nats right now down 6-5 in Toronto as Wins gets a piece of that one. All-Star game is in Washington, D.C. Have you voted yet?
Not. I haven't voted for anybody but Marlins.
35 times to do that. 5 times a day, 35 times you can vote. Oh, 2 to Wins is in the dirt, blocked by Holiday, a ball and 2 strikes. Major League Baseball just released the uniforms. This is what a Marlins representative or 2 or 3 will be wearing on their heads, and then the uniforms down there at the bottom.
Pretty sweet hat.
Yeah, I like that. It kind of looks like, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but I kind of like the Orioles hats. The way that they've got that front panel kind of white, little two-tone.
You're not supposed to say that.
No?
No, not till we leave.
All right. Disregard.
You can tell me about that on the plane if you'd like.
Sure. 5-hour flight. We'll be talking about a lot. A line drive over to Anderson at third. 2 away. Or are you just going to put the headphones on and pretend?
No, I told you I got work to do.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Joey Rickard will bat with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Came on in place of Corbin Joseph. As they move Mancini from left to first. The 0-1 to Rickard is upstairs. A ball on the strike. Inside to Rickard, who attended the same high school as 1995 AL Rookie of the Year Marty Cordova and Joey Gallo out in Las Vegas. Here comes the 3-1. A base hit through the left side for Rickard. A 2-out knock, and the Orioles still alive here in the 8th.
Rickard trying to get himself some more playing time, trying to get himself out of the little bit of a funk he's been in. Not a whole lot of opportunity here of late. Good swing there off the bench.
I'll bring up Adam Jones. Who on the season has 10 home runs. But he has gone up to 25 home runs each of the last 7 seasons. Talk about a guy who's in his last year of his contract with the Baltimore Orioles. 6 years, $85.5 million. Talk so much about the future of Manny Machado. There's Adam Jones, another one of those guys who's got an expiring contract. Originally a first-round pick of the Mariners, however.
Jones 257 career home runs. That's 5th most. Now I say that 5th most in American League history for a center fielder. Do you believe it?
I wouldn't, because I think if I think of center fielders, usually you think the speed guys.
American League.
Right.
Yeah. Right. 257. My goodness, he's had a nice career, hasn't he?
No question about it. And when he gets to 268 home runs with the Orioles, he'll tie Brooks Robinson, who we saw today, for 4th on the franchise list. And just out of the reach of not only Gonzalez, but also Castro. A hard hit ball up the middle for Adam Jones.
Jones' 2nd hit of the game. His first one, a double into right center field. This a base hit through the box.
Now 2 on, 2 out for Manny Machado. Up to 86 pitches for Miranda Gonzalez out of the bullpen today. And a visit from Juan Nieves.
My guess is this will be his last hitter, either way you look at it. As you said, at 86 pitches. Let's go over the game plan against Machado.
There is Brett Graves. Activated a couple of days ago. Yet to get into a big league game. Not only this year, but ever. First time he comes into a ball game, it'll be his major league debut. Marlins got him in the Rule 5 draft from the Oakland A's. Back in, that was early December at the Winter Meetings. He called from Jacksonville on Friday. But right now it is Gonzalez against Machado, and he's gotten him twice on strikeouts. Gets him to chase the first offering. 0-1.
Well, they set him up with that slow curveball both times. Machado went fishing for it once again, and then able to put him away with that cut fastball is what I'm going to continue to call it, even though you're telling me something else.
I trust you.
Because I'm seeing what the ball is doing. See if he goes to that same game plan against Machado.
Well, whoever the they is, they had it listed as 1 slider and 1 fastball.
It's the people in your machine over there.
Yeah. Which are in no way related to the voices in my head.
Are you sure?
Yeah. However, sometimes they are just as inaccurate.
It's not a four-seam fastball. He just threw it. There's no way that is.
A little game called What Are They Listed As? America's favorite game show.
It's a cutter.
Four-seam fastball. It's what the they, whoever the they is.
They're not in Baltimore.
Actually, I think they are.
Think?
I think they are here. Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, though. Point me in the direction of they, and we'll get this fixed.
They're over there.
Just that way?
That way, yeah. They are there. I don't know. You'll find them. 2 balls and a strike to Machado. Outside to the 3-time All-Star. Base hit into right field for Machado. Shuck comes up with it, but throws it to the middle of the diamond, and in to score is Rickard. An RBI single for Machado. And it's a 10-4 Baltimore lead.
Don Mattingly on his way to the mound. Nice job by Gonzalez, giving the Marlins almost 5 innings of work this afternoon in a game that got a bit derailed early. That man's got an impressive young arm, and he will be back soon. 90 pitches on the afternoon.
And now the big league debut of Brett Graves. 10-4 Orioles. The runners on base still his responsibility. But Brett Graves getting his first taste of Major League Baseball. The Marlins picked him out of the Oakland A's system in the big league phase of the 2017 Rule 5 draft. 25-year-old out of St. Charles, Missouri. Opened the season on the 60-day disabled list. Had a left oblique strain that he suffered in spring training. A couple of rehab starts at Single-A Jupiter. And then 5 rehab appearances with 1 start at Double-A Jacksonville. But on a major league mound for the first time. He'll face Mark Trumbo. He will save that baseball. Trumbo today a base hit, scored a run in the second. A double with an RBI, scored in the third. And a home run, obviously scored in the 7th as well. So 3 runs scored today for Mark Trumbo, who chops this one up the middle. Castro gets to it, pivots and throws, and got him. Well, in a big league debut for Graves, a big league play by Starlin Castro. That close to giving up his first big league hit, but Castro says, I don't think so. We head to the 9th. By Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center, in pursuit of your cure. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Thank you so much for spending some of your Father's Day with us. The Marlins and the Orioles and all of Major League Baseball celebrating fathers around the country. And Justin Bour celebrating in a big way with 2 home runs today. But it has not been enough as they trail this one 10-4 going to the 9th. Well, now a sigh of relief for that young man right there as Brett Graves' major league debut has come and gone. Now he's a seasoned vet. Forget about it. He already has a great defensive play behind him thanks to Starlin Castro. Through 2 pitches. What was that? Come in, you wait your whole life.
It's easy. That's the first thing I thought of is like this really nice play that he got behind him with Starlin Castro. He's like, oh, see, now I just put the ball on the ground. These guys will make plays behind me.
That's right.
Talk about it all the time.
This guy gets the ball on the ground a lot.
Well, he's really smart. Day and age, everybody wants to strike everybody out.
Oh, look at Machado. Spins and throws a little off the mark. It'll be an infield single for Derek Dietrich, but what an effort at short by Machado.
Yeah, I tell you, and I think this is what really does impress people around the league. You look at him, and maybe he doesn't get up as fast as some shortstops. He's a big guy, Machado, about 6'3", but man, he has got a cannon for an arm. Here's the thing, that ball's on line. Yikes, you know? That's what he did at third base for so many years. Now he's doing it at short.
Well, we were talking earlier is that the Orioles had Brooks Robinson here. We talked about how great defensively he was throughout his career, as Brian Anderson will dig in and foul the first pitch off. One play that, you know, wearing an Orioles uniform, the comparison is fairly easy, but it was at Yankee Stadium 3 or 4 years ago. Machado's playing third, ground ball to his backhand, and he kind of kicked it further into foul territory. He's able to grab it and throw it off balance and threw a strike to first base to get the out. Like when you say he had no business making that play, kind of like Britton right there, who throws it to Machado. Not a third baseman, not a shortstop, but kind of like a first baseman able to make that play. They get the lead runner Dietrich. There's one out.
Well, there's the sinker. There's a chance to turn two here, but throws the second flat-footed. The ball tailed on him. Machado full reach, being able to get that second out, or excuse me, that out at second base.
That'll bring up JT Realmuto. Couple of home runs in yesterday's ball game. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the 6th. He also flew out in the 7th when the Marlins had the bases loaded and nobody out. They were unable to get a run. Anderson struck out. Realmuto flew out. Bour struck out. Really a great chance to get back in the ball game, which was at that moment 8-4. Buck Showalter mixing and matching. Used 3 different pitchers in the 7th inning. They've got themselves in and out of trouble. Protected the lead. They have tacked on a couple of more. Now trying to snap a 9-game skid. Nothing in 2 to Realmuto. This one is sent out to deep left center field. Jones, a step or 2 on the track, makes the play. And the Marlins down to their last out.
Well, a big afternoon for Justin Bour. A couple of tough draws here. His last couple of at-bats. Scott throwing hard. Britton. Here, the super sinker. Justin Bour doing his part. The home run challenge today, contributing twice. It's the last day of the challenge. There you go.
To the left side. A throw to first, dug out by Mancini. And for the first time since May 13th, the Baltimore Orioles will shake hands after a victory at home. As if they haven't waited long enough, the Marlins may take a look at this.